Good morning everyone. Kapwa ko Filipino, magbasa tayo nating sariling history guys. History of the Filipino people by Agoncillo and Guerrero. Today is 27 March 2023. History of the Filipino people part 6, the Third Republic. Topic number 28, External Affairs. Nandito tayo sa paragraph The Manila Pact. Basa. The Manila Pact, probably the most significant event in the relations among some Southeast Asian nations, was the conclusion of the Southeast Asia Treaty Organization (SEATO), popularly called the Manila Pact, in 1954. The signing of this treaty proceeded from an awareness of the relentless march of communism in Asia. At the conclusion of World War II, Western imperialism in Asia suffered a setback and a wave of nationalism swept over that part of colonized Asia. In this post-war confusion, communism stepped in and, identifying itself with the struggling colonials, acquired large supplies of weapons. Most of the countries of the region were then ripe for communist pickings, for poverty, filth, and hunger led to desperation, which made the people clutch at the communist straw. The pattern of communist movement first showed itself in Indochina in 1945 to 1946, when the native communists gained control of the guerrilla movement and instigated a revolt against French authorities. Communist subversion spread to other parts of Southeast Asia, principally in India, Indonesia, Burma, Malaya, and the Philippines. The movement gained momentum when, in 1949, the Chinese communist armies of Mao Zedong overran the Chinese mainland and drove Chiang Kai-shek to a hideout in Formosa. On June 24, 1950, the communist North Koreans invaded South Korea, forcing the United Nations to contribute fighting forces and relief materials to South Korea. In July 1953, an armistice was signed ending the Korean bloodbath, but a year later, the communist Viet Minh, northern Indochina, invaded and overran the northern province of Tonkin and advanced into Laos. This Indo-Chinese Little War was halted in 1954 by the decisions of the Geneva Conference, which provided for the temporary withdrawal of communists and French forces to zones north and south, respectively, of the 17th parallel. Ano ba yan? Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos were recognized as independent states. The dangers posed by the communist movement to the Western powers' position in Asia and to the independent existence of some Southeast Asian countries led Secretary of State John Foster Dulles to propose, on July 23, 1954, the formation of collective arrangement to promote the security of the free peoples of Southeast Asia. Prince Juan Witayakorn of Thailand, however, expressed his country's desire to make the collective arrangements purely defensive in nature. Consequently, in September 1954, 8 independent nations, the Philippines, Australia, France, New Zealand, Thailand, Pakistan, the United States, and the United Kingdom, met in Manila to make collective arrangements a reality. On September 6, President Magsaysay, speaking at the opening conference, stated its objective. It is the task of this conference to help build an adequate system. It is the task of this conference to help build an adequate system of defense around an exposed and threatened sector of the world. On the success of this conference may well depend the peace of Asia in the next 10 years and the future freedom in the world for the next 1,000 years. With the struggling colonials acquired large supplies of weapons, most of the countries of the region were then ripe for communist pickings, for poverty, filth, and hunger led to desperation, which made the people clutch at the communist straw. The pattern of communist movement first showed itself in Indochina in 1945 to 1946, when the native communists gained control of the guerrilla movement and instigated a revolt against French authorities. Communist subversion spread to the other parts of Southeast Asia, principally in India, Indonesia, Burma, Malaya, and the Philippines. The movement gained momentum in 1949, the communist armies of The movement gained momentum when in 1949 the Chinese Communist armies of Mao Zedong overran the Chinese mainland and drove Chiang Kai-shek to a hideout in Formosa. Parang binalik lang dito. Yeah, binalik nga niya. On June 24, 1950, the Communist North Koreans invaded South Korea, forcing the United Nations. Binalik nga guys yung dun sa kabila na page. On June 24, 1950, the Communist North Koreans invaded South Korea, forcing the United Nations to contribute fighting forces and relief materials to South Korea. In July 1953, an armistice was signed. Maano mo kasi kababasa mo lang tapos mababasa mo ulit, kaya familiar agad na binalik yung pagkasulat. Okay, ulit. On June 24, 1950, the Communist North Koreans invaded South Korea, forcing the United Nations to contribute fighting forces and relief materials to South Korea. In July 1953, an armistice was signed ending the Korean bloodbath. But a year later, the communist-led Vietnam, Northern Indochina invaded and overran the northern province of Tonkin and advanced into Laos. This Indo-Chinese little war was halted in 1954 by the decisions of the Geneva Conference, which provided for the temporary withdrawal of communist and French forces at zones north and south respectively of the 70th parallel. Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos were recognized as independent states. Sabi na to. Yung page 517 guys, tsaka yung dito sa 518 magkapareho yung pagkasulat. Ayan pati yung The Dangerous Post. Ba't binalik? The Dangerous Post by the Communist Movement to the Western Powers. Tingnan nyo rin yung history book nyo. Yung 517, parehong-pareho pagkasulat. Tsaka 518. Okay, basahin na lang natin ulit. The dangers posed by the Communist Movement to the Western Powers' position in Asia and to the independent existence of somewhat Southeast Asian countries led Secretary of State John Foster Dulles to propose on July 23, 1954 the formation of collective arrangements to promote the security of the free peoples of Southeast Asia. Prince Juan Waitayakarn with Waitayakarn Waithayakorn Prince Waitayakarn of Thailand, however, expressed his country's desire to make the collective arrangements purely defensive in nature. Or Waitayakarn. Paano niyo ba yung basahin, guys? Prince Juan Waitayakarn. of Thailand, however, expressed his country's desire to make the collective arrangement purely defensive in nature. Consequently, in September 1954, 8 independent nations, the Philippines, Australia, France, New Zealand, Thailand, Pakistan, the United States, and the United Kingdom, met in Manila to make collective arrangements a reality. On September 6, President Magsaysay, speaking at the opening conference, stated its objective. Diba? Tingnan nyo guys, parehong-pareho. Oh. It is the task of this conference to help an adequate system of defense around an exposed and threatened sector of the world. On the success of this conference may well depend the peace of Asia in the next 10 years and the future freedom in the world for the next 1,000 years. Ang galing, dinoble niya. Constitution declares, ito, iba na to. Constitution declares that she renounces, page 519 na to guys. Constitution declares that he renounces war as an instrument of national policy. No other constitution of any independent country anywhere has such a unique statement of idealism. The Philippines, as a participant in the drafting of the UN Charter, has worked with the UN and its instrumentalities and agencies in the promotion not only of universal peace, but also of the social and economic well-being of underdeveloped countries. The Philippine role in the activities of the UN may not be as significant as that of the great powers like the United States, Russia. Like the United States, Russia, Great Britain, and France, but she has kept faith with the ideals of that international body. She is a member of the Trusteeship Council and the Special Committee on Non-Self-Governing Territories, which has labored and is laboring for the world as a member of the Commission on Human Rights. She participated in the drafting of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The Philippines likewise initiated a program of the UN guaranteeing the freedom of information because of the Philippine interest in the liquidation of the former Italian colonies. She was elected to the Advisory Council for the Trust Territory of Somaliland for a term of 10 years. Finally, the Philippines contributed in 1951 a combat battalion to the Korean War as a member of the United Nations forces. The Philippines is also a member of many of the UN's specialized agencies engaged in non-political activities. These include the World Health Organization, whose ASEAN headquarters is located in Manila, the Food and Agriculture Organization, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, the International Civil Aviation Organization, the International Labor Organization, the World Bank, the Universal Postal Union, the Monetary Fund, and others. Bukas na itong anti-communism guys, parang nalilito ako kasi pabalik-balik yung dito sa Bye everyone, God bless.